Why your child is always seeking validation and what it is really telling you. Why your child is always seeking validation and what it's really telling you. If your child is constantly seeking for approval, mommy, did I do this well? Daddy, did I do this well? Mommy, am I okay? Mommy, are you proud of me? Daddy, are you proud of me? That is not just a face. Mm-mm. It is not just a face. It is a message. There is a message in all of that your child is saying. And if you miss that message, if you miss that message, you may unknowingly raise a child who never feels like he or she is enough. That is the danger in it. So you have a child, and constantly your child will meet you, mommy, are you proud of me? Mommy, am I doing this well? Daddy, is this okay? And all of that. It is not just question. It is not something you should overlook. And let me bust your bubble. Trust me now, as your coach, I'm not going to, I'll always be vulnerable. There was a stage that our daughter, this, I think when she was age 5, 6 or thereabouts, she started exhibiting this feature. She will ask, mommy, are you proud of me? Daddy, do you love me? Daddy, do you do this? Trying to seek for validation. It is not just a face. It is not just ordinary. It's not something you should just look and think that, okay, it's normal. My child is just asking me question. It is a message, and you need to pay attention so that you won't end up raising a child who will grow up never believing in him or herself, never accepting that he or she is good, that he or she is enough. So today I'm going to show you why your child is always seeking validation. And trust me, I will not just tell you what you are not doing correctly. Remember, I always say on this platform or anywhere I'm teaching parenting, I always say that parenting is not about perfection. As a matter of fact, there is perfect frustration. You will end up raising children who are damaged, and you yourself, you will be stressed up, you will be exhausted, you will be frustrated. In fact, so perfection is a myth. Parenting is not about perfection. It is about intentionality. It is about showing up, constantly and doing those things that you need to do. So let me first talk about why what you are seeing versus what is actually happening. Most times, like I do say, almost all of our children's behavior, they are message. Yes, those things that we term as misbehavior, the tantrum, the disobedience, the anger, the so-called bad behaviors, those things that we tag as bad behavior, they are actually not bad behavior. They are message. Behavior is message. When we are talking about children in parenting, behavior, whether good or bad, they are message. And you really need to be conscious. And that is the essence of being an intentional parent. You need to be able to decode what that behavior is telling you so that you'll be able to do the right thing. Unfortunately, many of us, even when our children are screaming clearly through their behaviors, their character, even verbally, some children, even when they are communicating verbally, it's so sad that a lot of us parents, we just couldn't decode. We just couldn't decode, and we would tag our children, oh, my child is stubborn. Oh, my child is disobedient. Oh, my child is doing this. Almost all of the parents who have complained to me about their children, my children is stubborn, my children are stubborn, my child doesn't do this, my child doesn't do that. By the time I assess those children and I assess the parenting system in that home, none of them has ever, they will go back, feeling a sense of regret, feeling like, oh, so I've been doing something wrong all this while. The problem is about me, not about my child. And that's why I do say that parenting is first about you. Yes, parenting is first about you before your child. In parenting, you control yourself to manage your child. But most times, we control our children, you know. So we really need to understand what you are seeing versus what is actually happening. If you don't know what is actually happening, you will miss those messages that your child is sending to you. You will miss it. And the repercussion is going to be I don't want to use anything, any harsh word, but the repercussion can even continue from one generation to the other, just like what we are having now. A lot of us parents, our parents were damaged. They didn't know. They raised us to become damaged. They raised a damaged child who has now become a damaged parent and who is also raising a damaged child. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And that's why I keep saying that when you are parenting, emotional intelligence is important. Healing your inner child. A lot of us, our inner child has been wounded. And if you don't heal, you will continue that cycle. You will continue that cycle. That's where you will always hear me. Our course, Healing the Inner Child, is will soon be out. I want to encourage you to register so that all those things, the impact of the course, all our sessions will take you back into your childhood. You will be able to identify what you missed, those things that were not supposed to happen to you that happened to you. You will, the love that you're supposed to receive that you didn't receive, that is now reflecting in your own parenting, even without you knowing. And you will call up your inner child and you will heal your inner child. And that is when you can parent in wholeness. A lot of us are damaged and we are raising damaged children. Teachers, I have seen damaged teachers, educators, proprietors, proprietress who are damaged, and unknowingly they are raising damaged children. Parents, all right, what you are seeing versus what is actually happening. Most parents think, my child just wants attention. Oh, my child will just want me to validate. Oh, my child is just this, my child is that. But that is not accurate. What you are saying, if you are experiencing such, especially if you are raising a preteen, from preteen, some children exhibit this early, like I said, like our daughter. Even from a 3, a child can start exhibiting, showing a need for validation always. When your child is exhibiting that, your child is asking that question, mommy, am I okay? Are you proud of me? Do you love me? Am I okay? And all of that. And you are concluding that your child just needs attention. That is not an accurate statement. It is not. Your child is not just asking for attention. Your child is asking for identity confirmation. Please put that in the comment section if you are here with me. Yes, your child is not just seeking for attention. Your child is asking for identity confirmation. Identity confirmation. And you must have heard me say this. If you have been following me on Parenting Talk Show with Coach Ailua on Facebook, I do say this. that give a child identity, and you have given that child every damn thing that child needs in life. For those of you that are complaining, my child is this, you have a teenager, you are complaining, your child will leave home, get to school, and go and do dreadlock. You know, a parent was complaining to me. The child went to school, and when he was coming back, he came back with dreadlock, and the parents are like, we are Christian family, and we that's not how you are raised. We raised our children. How will he go out just a semester? And yes, thank you, Miss Ellen, thank you for joining. Yes, identity confirmation, that is what that child is seeking, not just attention. And they start complaining, just one semester, and he's carrying the dreadlock. And I asked, as a family, what do you stand for? Do you even have family vision? Have you ever communicated with your children that as a family, this is who we are? If you have failed to do that, your child will go out and we do something that you don't expect. You don't just assume. A lot of us assume that because we take our children to church, our children are born in the church, they are even bearing Mary, Joseph, what again? Matthew, Victoria, and all of that. Shebi, they grew up in a Christian environment. We just assume. News flash, news flash. I have seen children of pastors, children of ministers who are not even born again. They don't even know their identity in Christ. I have worked with teenagers for almost 10 years in a church system, not even as a parenting coach, no, within a church system. And I can tell you that a lot of our children are not even born again. They don't even know, they are just going to church. It's just like a routine, just like something they grew up with, just an activity. So you need to give your child identity. If you are listening to me and you have a toddler, you are so fortunate that you are listening to me. Or maybe you are watching this after you are watching the replay. Start now. Start giving your child identity. This is who we are. That's why I keep saying at the Model Family, we install family system. These are the things that we put in place for your family. Systems that will run your own. That even when your child is out of your home, when your children grow and they grow out of your home, that system is still guiding them. We will put you through how to install your family vision, your values, your family values, your perceptual code, your expectations, and all of that. And you will impute it. That system will be running. When your children grow up, maybe one is in Canada, one is in UK, one is in South Africa. Even the system is a family legacy. The system will still be running your family. So if you have not gotten your family system installed, I'm still telling you, you are wrong. Honestly, you are wrong, and you are probably parenting in error. I need to tell you this. Identity is everything in parenting. Identity. From age 0, you start, emphasizing, imputing identity in your child. Imputing identity in your child. Letting your child know who he or she is. So when your child says, look at me, our son, our baby will always say this. Mommy be looking, oh, mommy be looking at me. Mommy be looking. Look, if I turn my face, say, mommy, no, be looking, be looking, be looking. So when your child is saying that, what your child really means is not, your child is not saying, look at me with your eyes, with this your two balls. That's not actually what your child means. What your child is telling you is, please tell me who I am. Tell me who I am. So whenever your child says, Daddy, look at me, don't just look. Your child actually wants something more than looking, something more than gazing. Your child actually wants you to tell him or her who he or she is. So your child is not just seeking praise. Your child is trying to answer one question. One question: am I enough? Without approval. Am I enough? And let me say this, because a lot of us, our parents didn't understand this. Because our parents didn't understand this, they were unable to meet this need, to answer this question accurately. They can't even decode what we were saying when we were young. And that is why a lot of us grew up to become what we are today. I have seen adults who is still seeking for validation. Not because the child is bad, not because that adult is bad, but because something went wrong during that person's childhood. These are the people that always seek for validation. These are the people that they will stay with someone who is not treating them right and they can't move. They know that this person is not treating me the way I want to be treated, but they cannot move. They struggle to decide. I will talk about this in before the session ends. So when your child is asking this question, your child is not just requesting for praise. Your child wants you to answer that question. Am I enough? Your child is asking you, am I enough without approval? Without approval. I hope you get that. All right. So, how validation becomes a need. We also need to understand this. Children are not born needing constant validation. No, that was not how children were born. Children were wired for connection. Children were wired for connection. And that is why you will always hear me say, connect, connect, connect. In parenting, connection is a powerful tool. Is a powerful tool. As a parent, as a teacher, as an educator, you need to learn how to connect. I think I shared last week class, or about 2 weeks ago, that whenever I meet children, I relate mostly with teenagers, preteen and teenagers, and I love them. I love to, to work with them. People always say, teenagers are difficult to deal with. Yeah, teenagers, they are this, they are that. But honestly, they are lovely people. It's just because we do not know how to handle them. We do not know. Some of them will meet me and they will tell me, Auntie, I just feel like sharing this thing with you. I've never shared this with anybody, not even with my parents, but I just want to share it with you. And they will talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk with me. Sometimes we cry together. Sometimes I just encourage them and all of that. Why do you think they feel so comfortable sharing their burden? Some of them are carrying burdens that they have been sharing for over 10 years. Over 10 years. And they are not orphans. They are living with their parents. But because there was no connection, you don't think that because you are the parent, your children will just connect with you. No, you create a system around that. You create a system of connection. Your children will not just talk to you because you are the father or because you are the mother. If you don't engineer your environment to enable that. 2 weeks ago, I talked about why your child is not talking to you. Please, if you missed that session, the replay is available on my YouTube channel. Go and watch it, because I've heard a lot of parents. Oh, my child doesn't talk to me. Oh, my child doesn't talk to me. Oh, my child loves to keep to him or herself. Some parents will even tell me, oh, my child is reserved. Oh, my child just loves to keep to him or herself. And by the time I get close to these children, I discover that most of them, they have a lot that is going on in their mind. But because the parental system where they are growing up was not engineered to enable them to speak up, there was no connection. So they keep bottling things. bodily things, carrying bodies, and the parents assume that all is well. So children are not born needing constant validation. Children are wired for connection, but they are shaped by experience. They are shaped by experience. When instead of seeking for validation, your child is supposed to be, seeking for connection, because your child is wired for connection. But if you have created a system whereby there's no connection, then your child will constantly be seeking for validation. And if this goes on consistently, repeatedly, honestly, your child will grow up a damaged adult, just like many of us are here right now. All right. So, what does unconditional love means? When love feels unconditional, sorry, when love feel conditional, even subtle, some of us, we don't know that we have conditioned love for our children. When your child behaves well, you praise your child, you tell your child, oh, I love you, and all of that. And when your child misbehave, you keep mute. How many of you normally do that? Or maybe your child writes exams and your child didn't do well. When your child, perform very well, you celebrate, you take your child out, oh, I'm proud of you, and all of that. But any term or session that your child perform below expectation, you don't celebrate. You are conditioning love. You are telling your child that you matter to me only when you do well. And that child will seek for validation, not even only from you. That child will seek for validation in the wrong place. In the wrong place. And that is what we're having. That is the problem our teenagers are having now on social. Not only even teenagers, even parents. You see some parents, and you can decode. You can decode that they are on social media seeking for validation, unnecessary validation. Something went wrong. So when love feels conditional, even subtly, a child begins to attach his or her worth to performance. To performance. When you say good girl, only when your child behaves well. Good girl. I'm proud of you. Only when your child achieve, when your child, hits the target or your goal. But when that child fails, you keep silence, or you even bash the child's ego. You even talk down on that child because your child wrote an exam and your child failed. You turn everything upside down because you have paid huge amounts of school fee, and everywhere is just turned upside down. You are just angry. You are just, shouting, going up and down upon all the money that I've paid, despite all that I've given you. This is the result you are bringing home for me. Mm, if you have done that, well done. After this class, stop doing that. Okay? Stop doing it. Stop doing it. Because when you are doing that, you are teaching your child that love comes when I perform. That's the message your child is speaking. That my parents loves me only when I perform. And approval comes when I get it right. That is only when I get it right. Yes, approval comes. So your child now starts performing, not just for success, just to belong, to belong, to belong. Even as adults, some of us, we behave in that manner. We just do things to belong, even things that doesn't go with our personal value, but because we want to belong. Hmm? You want to belong. You are not comfortable. Oh, you met a set of friends, maybe at work, in your place of work, or in the church. You know that this set of people, they're not actually who you want to be, but because you want to belong, because something went wrong while you are growing up, you just play along with them, and yeah, so that you will shall belong somewhere. I mean, all right. So the invisible damage, here is where it gets dangerous. Here is where it gets dangerous. And I really, really, really want you to pay attention to this session. Then your child will stop asking, what do I think? And your child will start asking, how do I make them happy? What will I do to make my parents happy? Hmm? What will I do to make my parents happy? And when a child is having that feelings, honestly, there is problem. There is a big problem. Unfortunately, they won't say this verbally to you. They will not. Because what is obvious is that for a child to be seeking for validation, for a child to be asking that question, that what do I do to make my parents happy? It means that there is a missing link in the family. It means that there is an error in your parenting system. There's an error, a big one. Then this leads to identity distortion. See, I'm talking about identity again. You will now know that identity is a big deal. Yes, thank you, Dikin Kaka. Thank you for always joining me. Thank you, sir. I missed you last week. You were not in class last week. I hope you are fine, sir. Network was really, really dealing with us. I think I ended last week class abruptly because of the poor network. I'm trying to get another router so that we won't have network interruption. Excuse me. Thank you. I'm glad that you are learning, sir. Okay, so identity distortion. I'm still talking about identity. In parenting, identity is huge. Do you know, for some of us, let me why this is not a Bible class, but that's what I believe, so that's what I know, and that's what I'll talk about. And if you are watching this session and you are not a Christian, please don't feel bad. Just see the scripture as a book that we can all learn from. Do you know that even our Lord Jesus Christ affirmed his identity, even God Almighty? And that's why he said in the Old Testament, I am that I am. Hmm? That was why God himself, at certain points, at some point or the other, he would affirm his identity. That this is who I am. I am the Lord of hosts. So it is a big deal. If you have not been giving your child identity, start now. If you don't know how to start, please contact us. We will gladly help you out. We will gladly help you out. You see, all this, like I do say, all those problems that we are having, bad governance, angry streets, thugs, and all of that, it is. So usually when we are going to school, we normally talk. We usually decide to put our children in a school that is at a trackable distance, so that when we are going to school, we are talking, they are learning. Sometimes they are teaching me. So we have a system like that. So that morning, I was sharing with them how I used to steal money from my mommy's purse, from my parents' purse. So as I started, her daughter looked. I said, I remember when I was young, I normally steal from my mommy's purse. And her daughter looked at me without hesitating. She said, Mommy, we used to steal from your purse too. Mm, I was shocked. I said, wow, can you tell me more? There was this ice cream seller. There was this local ice cream seller. All this ice cream that they used to do. So every Sunday, this man will come to our house, and all the children will come out to go and buy the ice cream. And honestly, I do not like that ice cream because I do not trust the sauce. So whenever our children sees other children buying, they will also want to buy. And we will tell them, please don't buy this. Your daddy will buy a bowl of ice cream, fan milk, healthy one for you. Usually on Sunday after service, after when we get back home, after uh, lunch, we do have a siesta before we start preparing for house fellowship. So when we are sleeping, These children will sneak in into my room, pick my purse, take money, and go and buy the ice cream. And they have been doing that for quite a number of weeks, and we didn't even know. So when she finished narrating the story, I was really surprised because the time they were sharing this with me, it's we have left that place. It was over a year, or close to a year. So I asked our son, I said, "Is this true?" He said, "Yes. We used to take money from your purse." I said, "Wow." I then asked them, I said, "But you know that you shouldn't steal." And both of them said something that stayed with me since that day. Both of them echoed, at least they were younger that time. Both of them echoed this when I said, "But you know that you shouldn't steal." They said, "Mommy, we didn't know who we were then. We didn't know who we were." That means, although we have started giving them their identity, we have been teaching them this is what you are, this is who you are, this is what we stand for as a family, this is our family values and all of that, but they haven't internalized it. They said, "Mommy, we didn't know who we were at that time. Now that we know who we are, we cannot do that again." That is identity. That is identity. So what it means is that even when I am not there with them, even when their dad is not there, the identity that we have been able to give them will guide them in decision making. Again, I'm saying, if you have not been giving your children identity, you are late. You are in a place of work, everybody is your friend. Yeah, here, everybody is your friend. Everybody is just your friend. My friend, my friend, my friend. Am I saying you should not have friend? Of course, no. We can't exist in isolation. But don't be like a city without wall. People who have reflected identity, who their parents were unable to give them identity, they always seek for approval in a wrong place. In a wrong place. So, what are the long term effects, long term outcome? They become people pleasing. People pleasing. You shall want to please everybody. You are sha concerned about this. I don't want them to say something about me, even when you are doing the right thing. Even when you are doing the right thing, you care so much. Have you forgotten that no matter what you do, people will talk about you? People like us, people will drag us. Anytime we talk about discipline, don't beat your child, they start dragging us. They say we are not teaching biblical principle. They say that's how they were raised. Our father beat us and we turn out okay. They drag us. But who cares? I know what I know, and I am sure of what I know, and I am telling you what I know. I am saying what I have worked, my work, what I have discovered about discipline, about parenting as a whole. So I care less. I care less. Some people will even say, it's because when there was a time I made a post on Facebook about positive discipline and all of that, and someone says, it's because you have never, you don't have a child now. That's why you are saying what I say. And I laughed. I said, I'm a mother of three. Yes, I'm a mother of three, two boys, one girl. So there's nothing you're experiencing that I'm not experiencing. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm telling you what is right, what you shouldn't do. Because I probably have known what you don't know. That's the truth. And if my teaching, if my discussion is making you uncomfortable, the problem is not me. Oh. The problem is not me. Check yourself, honestly. Check yourself. I wrote a book, Discipline Without Damage. If you have not read that book, you are wrong. You are wrong. It will teach you how to discipline appropriately. Then the second one is fear of failure. We are so afraid to fail. Children who is always seeking for validation, who the parents were unable to give that child to validate that child. They are afraid to take risk. And if you cannot take risk, you cannot break through. It's not possible. Go and ask people who are successful. They are risk taker. risk taker, calculated risk taker. Hmm. If you want to make it, you want to break through, you want to break forth, you must be a risk taker. So children who grew up always seeking for validation, they fear failure. They fear to try. They fear to try because when that child has tried and the child fails, the parent has shamed the child. The child failed an exam and you are shaming the child. Why? Who told you that it is that exam that will make that child to be successful in life? Some of us went to school. We have first degree, we have second degree, but we are not practicing what we learned at school. That's irony of life. That's irony of life. So who told you that because that child failed that exam, that child has failed in life? Eh? All right. Then anxiety. This set of children, they live in anxiety. They are just too anxious. They lack confidence, lack of confidence in themselves. See, when a child fails, I have said this many times. Failure, please listen to me. Failure is not the opposite of success. Please write that down in the comment section if you get it. Failure is not the opposite of success. When we are talking about what's an opposite, when we say success, we say failure. That's not true. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the pathway to success. If you don't fail, you can't succeed. Yes, if you have never failed and you think you are successful, honestly, you have never you have not gotten there. Do you know how many failure this what's the name of this man who is producing the company that is producing Coca-Cola? Do you know the numbers of failure they recorded? Hmm? We need to encourage our children to try, fail, and try again. Let them try, fail. There's one thing they are learning. They are learning confidence, resilience, perseverance, ability to fail, to rise up and try again. The reason why a child will fail exam, or someone will lose job, and that person's life will turn upside down. The person can't even think straight, the person can't do anything again, is because the child, when the person was growing as a child, he was not taught how to fail. Teach your children how to fail at home when the stake is still low. Give them platform to fail. Failure is it's not the opposite of success. When your children are trying and they are failing, they are building muscle. Muscle, the more you try, the more that muscle will develop. Give them platform. I remember a time I went to pick our children in their formal school. They were writing the exam, first day of the exam, and our daughter's teacher held my hand, and she took me somewhere. She said, your daughter didn't perform well in phonics. I think it was phonics exam they wrote that day. Your daughter didn't perform well. Please, coach, teach her very well at home so that she will not fail. When she was talking, I was like, well, she's a caring teacher. She cared about her pupil. She now saying so that she will not fail. I was like, what's the big deal in failing? There's no big deal in failing. If she failed this time, at least she will learn that she has not prepared well, she has not done what she's supposed to do, and next time she will learn what to do better next time. I was like, why should I put myself under tension so that she will not fail? If she's careless, let her fail. Let her fail. She will learn. There's lesson in failure, yes. So that kind of children, they lack confidence. They have difficulty making decisions. These are the set of children who will grow up to become husband, that they cannot even decide for their family. They want to make decision about their immediate family. They are calling their dad, this is what I want to do. Should I do it this way? Or a wife, you want to do something in your concerning your immediate family, and you are still calling your parent, mommy, should I do it this way? This is what my husband said. Am I saying we shouldn't take advice from our parents? That's not what I'm saying. But we need to be able to take healthy decisions, healthy choices. Not because this set of children, they face this lack of confidence, anxiety, fear of failure, people pleasing, and all of that. Not because they are weak. They are not because they are weak. For those who say, my child is bad, my child is this, my child, no child is bad, no child is weak. The scripture says that everything God created was good. Everything, including our children. So if your child is exhibiting something against that, then there's a problem somewhere in the system you have created. Not because they are weak, but because they were never allowed to stand on their own internal voice. I am saying to you, allow your child to use internal voice, their internal voice. You are building confidence in them. You are teaching them how to face life. Most times, what we teach our children, they are not real. For instance, a child misbehave, you pick a belt, you pick a cane, you beat a child. You have not allowed that child to face the consequence of his or her behavior. The world is not going to beat anybody with cane. It is consequence. So you allow your child to face consequence, so that your child, once the weather is cold and I refuse to put on my warmer or my cardigan, I will feel cold. That is consequence. Not beating the child. All right. So signs you are raising a validation dependent child. These are the signs that you are raising a child who is dependent on validation. Who is dependent on validation. And please, again, listen to me, because this is where it gets so practical. That child, these are the things you should watch out for. If your child is always saying this, please, you need to do something. If your child is constantly asking, is this good? Is this good? Is this good? Even trivial things that your child should be able to take decisions. Your child is asking you, Dad, is this good? Mommy, is this good? Your child hesitates without guidance. These are the red flags. Your child fears disappointing you. And this is the reason why most children tell lies. I do tell parents that if your child is lying, I think next week, maybe next week or next 2 weeks, I'm going to talk about lying children, why children are lying. I've heard a lot of parents, a lot of comments, a lot in my DM. Oh, my child is lying. Oh, my child. Someone told me that, if my child tells lies, even machine cannot dictate it. And by the time I did the analysis and I told her this is what is going on, that child is very intelligent, but you are not creating an enabling environment. If you create an enabling environment for children, children will always say the truth. So if your child is lying, the problem is not about your child. The problem is about the system you have created. We'll talk about that. So your child fears disappointing you. They pretend because they shall want to please you. That child keep apologizing, over apologizing, just like some of us would do. Even for the things that we didn't do wrong, I say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I take responsibility, even for things that you have not done anything wrong. That child, if your child struggles to make simple choices like, what dress should I put on? What shoe should I, put on? Just simple decisions, simple choices your child cannot make. All these four, is it four? I think it's five. Five things that I've mentioned. If your child is doing any of this, then note that that child is validation dependent, and you need to start working on that child. If you have that child, if you're experiencing that, please get across to us. We will surely help you. We will surely help you. All these are not disobedience. They are not disobedience. This is dependence on external approval. It means that that child has not been satisfied with him or herself internally. Internally. And that is where everything comes from. You need to be pleased with yourself. You need to have that internal approval by yourself. Like, I'm not saying pride, but like, I'm okay. Hmm? I'm okay. I'm enough. I'm enough. Something happened recently. We changed a system in our home recently, and I was asking our children that when you see your friends doing this that we are not doing now, how do you feel? Our son said, I'm not feeling anything. I'm okay. I don't feel anything. Our daughter said, well, I don't feel bad. I just feel for them that they are doing something wrong. That is internal validation. They won't be pushed because they are satisfied within them. Within them. So let me now talk about identity formation, the roots. This is skeletal. Identity formation is a whole lot. There's a whole lot. If you want to form identity in your child, is a whole lot. I'm just going to run through this, but if you can work with what I'm going to teach now, you will definitely see results. So this is the part most parents don't actually understand, that identity hmm, is formed in relationship. Identity is formed in relationship. If you are here with me, please put that in the comment box. Let me hear. If you get that, put that in the comment box. Put that in the comment box. Identity is formed in relationship. In relationship. That is the basis for identity formation. If you don't have relationship, there's no way you can give your child identity, the right identity. You actually give your child something, but the wrong thing. Your child does not discover who he or she is alone. Nobody. You can't discover who you are alone. I wrote a book, Why Find Your Lost Purpose? And the book talked about identity formation. Yes, sir. Thank you. Identity is formed in relationship. So when you are trying to give your child identity, the basis is relationship. The basis is relationship. If you don't have relationship, forget how much you spend on your children. Forget, you may send them to the most expensive school, you may get them the most expensive gadget, you may give them everything in life. But if you're unable to give your child identity, a good one, honestly, you have done nothing. You have done nothing. Honestly, you have done nothing. Sorry if that sounds harsh. So no child discover. I was talking about my book, Why Find Your Lost Purpose. Again, if you have not read the book, excuse me, you are wrong. Hmm? You are wrong. It comes with a workbook. Yes, it comes with a complete workbook. It's available on my seller store, and the link is in the description box if you are interested. It will guide you on how to guide your children, to give your children identity, to help your child, you know, identify their purpose. Identify their purpose. So your child will discover his identity through you. And that is one of the most important role you have to play in your children's life. Identity formation. So there are three questions every child is asking. Three important questions that every child is asking. You as a parent, you have asked it directly or indirectly when you are young. Yes, when you are a child, every child is asking these three questions, and you really need to know so that you'll be able to answer that question accordingly. The first question: am I loved? Am I loved? The second one is, do I matter? Hmm. See, if you don't have your family system installed, hey, one of the messages you are sending to your children is that you don't matter here. You don't belong here, because family system installation will give every member of the family a sense of belonging. They will know that this is where we belong to. This is where I belong to. I am part of this family. Then the third question is, am I enough? Three important questions. Am I loved? Do I matter here? Am I enough? Am I loved? Do I matter? Am I enough? I hope you get that. If the answer to this question is tied to behavior, you are not building confidence. If you are showing your child that your child is loved only when your child behaves well, if you are telling your child that your child matters only when your child behaves well, if you are telling your child that you are enough only when your child behaves well, you are not building confidence. You are building performance based identity. And trust me when I say this, it will backfire. It will backfire. A lot of us are struggling as parents today because of this. Because our parents couldn't answer these three questions. Am I loved? Do I matter? Am I enough? Because our parents could not decode. So they couldn't answer that question. And we grew up and we found ourselves where we are today. Some of us are 30, some of us 35, some of us 40, and we are still confused. We don't even know who we are. We are still seeking purpose. Some of us pray, Father, show me my purpose. Let me discover my purpose. If you have ever prayed that kind of prayer, your parent didn't do well. Sorry. This is not to talk down on them. I prayed that prayer too. I started finding my purpose. I knew something was wrong, even though I didn't know what exactly was wrong. But I knew that this is not who I want to be. This is not where I want to be. From the course I studied in the university. It shouldn't be. It is a parenting error to grow up and still be praying that kind of prayer. Your parents should have prayed that prayer on your behalf. Sorry, our parents did well. Kudos to them. I celebrate all our parents. But I need to say this so that we can break the cycle, so that you won't also repeat what your parents did. We need to break that cycle. We really need to. So if you are doing this, if you are not able to answer these three questions, am I loved? Do I matter? Am I enough? You are not building confidence. You are raising performance, you are building performance-based identity. And like I said, it will backfire. Now, you should know me that I will not just tell you what you are doing that is not right. I will also tell you what you need to do differently. So, what you need to do differently, let us fix it right now. Number one, separate worth from performance. Please, again, if you get that, put it in the comment section. Separate worth from performance. Whether your child perform well or not, let your child know that your child is loved, your child matter, and your child is enough. A child who is not doing well today can grow up. The tide can change. I have seen children who people tag as dullard. And this child is, and when our children, when a child doesn't meet the parents' expectation, we just conclude that that child is not doing well. That's not true. No child is not doing well. If you have a child and you are thinking that child is not doing well, you just have not identified where that child can do better. That's it. Every child is unique. Every child. People will tell me, oh, you are so lucky. Ah, your children are this. Ah, your children are that. It's not luck. It is not luck. And God was not partial. The same children God gave me, God gave you. Yes, the same children in our own. The way God created them is the same way God created every one of them. The scripture says that children are a heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. Whether you are Christian or you are Muslim or you are pagan or anything, it's God that created those children, and God made them perfect. So if you are not meeting up your expectation, check your expectation and check the system that is running your own. So the first thing is to shift worth from performance. Instead of saying good girl, good boy, say I love how you tried. That took courage. Even if your child cannot, get the goal, achieve the goal, but your child tried. Hmm? I love how you tried, even though you didn't get the desired result. But I love your resilience. You need to separate worth from performance. The second one is give unconditional affirmation. Give unconditional affirmation. Look into your child eyes. Yes, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Separate work from performance. Worth. 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 Yes. Separate worth from performance. Thank you, sir, for putting that in the comment section. So give unconditional affirmation. Sometimes when I'm bathing our children, I just look into their eyes and I'll tell them, you are enough. You are enough. The seed of greatness is in you. You see, all those things will eventually become your child's inner voice. Inner voice. When you are not there, I will tell them, you will be great. Sometimes I ask, do you know that you'll be great? You say, yes, I know. I know. That's unconditional affirmation. Not because they did well, not because something happened and I am proud of them at that particular time. No, I am affirming them because they are my children. Whether they do well or they do well again, they are our children. So give unconditional affirmation. Do it repeatedly. Do it often. Do it often. Say things like, you matter to me. You are important to me. I love you even when you make mistakes. There was a day I looked at our son. I said, do you know that our life became sweeter since we gave birth to you? And he asked, said, what do you mean? I said, it's like, when you want to drink garri or you want to take pap, when you are taking the garri, it's sweet, it tastes nice. But imagine when you had a sweetener, maybe you now put sugar. You know how the taste, how will it taste? Say, it will taste very sweet. I say, yes. That's what happens to us as your parents since we gave birth to you. And he smiled. I could see that smile of, confidence, that smile of, said, like boyfriend toasting girlfriend, we need to do that. It builds confidence. Bro Ify, please put that in the comment section again. I can see that you retracted that comment. Thank you for putting this. At least even people that are watching the replay, they will see those points that you are putting there. So give unconditional affirmation. Then redirect validation. When your child asks, did I do well? Don't say, you did well. You did not do well. No. Ask, what do you think? What do you think? Teach your child to first, have that internal validation. Now, internal validation, it is important. It is important. This is how to build internal confidence. Confidence is huge. A lot of us are very good at what we do. We are very, very good. I have met people like that, but we lack confidence. Hmm? And if you lack confidence, no matter how good you are, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Separate worth from performance. Thank you very much, sir. God bless you. If you lack confidence, you may not get to where you're supposed to get to, even when you are gifted. So it is important. One of the things you should build in your children is confidence. Then the fourth thing you should do is normalize failure. Normalize failure. Yes. Normalize failure. It is okay to fail. Tell your children. It is okay to fail. Sometimes I even tell my children, I will support you when you fail. Don't be afraid to fail. Fail. Fail is okay. You are permitted to fail. You are learning. Failure, success is not a destination, it's a journey. We keep going. We keep going. Normalize failure. Don't teach perfection. Don't expect perfection from your children. No, if you keep expecting them to be perfect, you will end up raising damaged children. Normalize failure. I'm not saying you should care, you should be careless, you should be lackadaisical. No, do everything you need to do, but don't pressure your children for success. Don't pressure your children to learn. Someone asks question in the phone is uncalled for. You don't beat a child because the child is not getting what you are teaching. You are pressuring that child to learn, and the more you pressure, the more the child will hate learning. Hmm? If you try, you are teaching a child something, the child is not getting it. It means it's not the child's problem, it's your problem, it's your teaching method. It means you are not teaching, you are not using the style that the child learns through. We have different learning style. Auditory, we have auditory learner, we have visual learner, and all of that. We have about four different learning style. So if you are not using your child's learning style, no matter how good you are as a parent, as a teacher, as an educator, the child may not learn, and that's not the child's problem. It is your problem. It is your problem. Don't pressure. Normalize failure. It builds resilience. Failure should not threaten belonging. Failure should not threaten belonging. It should build resilience. Failure should build resilience. Last time, our son had this year had been tough. We have been in and out of hospital, and at the beginning of each term, they will set their goals. They will write what they expect to score in all their subjects. So almost half of the term, it was not he was in and out of school. We are on hospital visits and all of that, and he couldn't achieve the goal. And when we collected the results and we are doing evaluation, he was feeling bad. He was like, "Mommy, I couldn't achieve my goal." I said, "Yes, I know, but you did well. We are proud of you. With everything you have gone through this step, you are still able to achieve this. You have done so well." And we encouraged him and we hugged him. He said, "I will do better next time." Hmm? Failure should not threaten belonging. It should build resilience. It should be normalize failure in your home. All right. I hope you take that. Now, the goal. The goal. Mhm. The goal. You are not raising a child who needs constant approval. Don't raise a child who needs constant, am I good? Am I this? Am I that? Those set of children will seek for validation in a wrong place. These are the set of children that will fall for peer pressure. Peer pressure. Hmm? You are not raising a child who need constant approval. You are raising a child who can stand confidently even when no one is clapping. Even when no one is clapping. Shey, I'm in class now. How many people are here? About five people. Hmm? But I care less. Honestly, I care less. I'll come to class, I will teach. I know someday, somehow, someone will watch and it will bless the person. Even when no one is clapping, even when no one is clapping, I'm proud of what I'm doing. I'm confident that I'm blessing life, that I'm blessing families. Even when people disagree with me, it's okay. It's okay. I bother less. I know, like I said earlier, I know my work and I'm confident of what I know. I have confidence in what I know because probably I have discovered many things that many parents haven't discovered. So you are not raising a child who is constantly seeking for approval. Who is constantly seeking for approval. That's why some adults will go to internet and they will be posting things that should be in private. Yes, things that shouldn't come to the public domain. Why? Because they are seeking for validation. They are seeking for validation. They are seeking for approval. So you are raising children, a child who can stand tall, who can stand confident, even when no one is clapping. Even when no one is clapping. So let me leave you with this. One day, your child will walk into rooms hmm, when you are not present. Shy, I normally say it. A time will come, you will not be there with your children. And I'm not even talking about death. We will all live long. I'm not talking about death. But definitely a time will come that your children will need to take decisions. Your children will need to make informed choices. And you will not be there to influence it. You won't be there to tell your child that, oh, this is a choice you make. Don't do it this way and do it that way. No. And in that moment, they will either look for approval or stand in identity. Let me say this again. I said one day, your child will walk into rooms where you are not present, where you are not there, probably where there are strangers. Have you been an interview? Maybe job interview or contract interview. I've been in a few. I remember when I was doing my professional certification, I was a young graduate, and people that came for that oral interview, we have had written exam. So those of us that passed the written exam, we were invited for oral exam. And I saw big, people that have been practicing, people that came in their agbada, the HOD of department and all of that. In fact, I met with one of my lecturers there for you to know how executive the whole process looked like. Trust me, I was not intimidated. I was not. I went into the room. There are professors, professionals. They asked me questions. Whether I was saying rubbish or I was not saying, I was saying the truth. A few things that they asked that I know, I said it confidently. And I passed. And I got my certification. So a time will come that your children will appear in a room where you are not present. And in that moment, they will either look for approval or stand in identity. And when they look for approval, they will miss it. They will definitely miss it. I am sure. But if they stand in identity, hmm, the sky is even beyond their starting point. So what you are building now will decide that moment. What you are building currently, the system that is running your home, your parenting style, your discipline problem, the kind of identity you are giving to your children is what will determine that moment. And here is me, the parenting guru, your coach. I am Ayolu Adedeji. I am the founder and the lead consultant at the Model Family. When you hear me, when you see me on your screen, just know that I want to talk about parenting. Sometimes I listen, I do not judge, but sometimes I will judge you because I really want you to do well in your parenting as much as I am doing Well, as much as I'm working on my parenting, I am still working on my parenting. Yes, you are running your race, I'm running my race too. So, as much as I'm working on my parenting, I also want you to, work on your parent, because I understand that if we get it right in our families, we will get it right in our society. And the whole world will be a better place, to live. If you have learned anything in class today, please give me a thumb up. Give me a thumb up, thumb up, thumb up in the comment section. Let me see thumb up before we end the class. If you know you have learned anything, if this class has taught you anything, you are going on with anything, please give me thumb up right now. Thumb up. Thank you, Ellen James, for joining me. Thank you, Ifikaka. Thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Every Saturday by 7 p.m. I am here talking about parenting. And every Wednesday, I upload videos on my YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so and click the notification button. If you have not clicked the notification button, please do so that you will be notified whenever I have new upload. There are lots to learn about parenting. There's so many things that we don't know. Like my teacher, Praise Forward, will always say that all that you know is not all there is to know. There are many things that we still need to learn about parenting. Thank you all for joining me, and I love you all. I love you, and I hope to see you next week again in class. Until next time, keep parenting with intention.